And we're going to take 3 just deep cleansing breaths together. So on your next inhale, take a big deep breath in through your nose. Brief hold at the top, and then take a big open mouth exhale. Good. 2 more just like that. Brief hold, let it go. 1 more time, big deep breath. Brief hold and let it go. Whenever you're ready, tuck your chin down towards your chest. And then blink your eyes open when you're Hi.
Hello.
I love starting like this because I always know that I personally need it. I'm so happy we're doing this.
You do.
This makes me so excited, so happy. I have been such like a quiet little super fan over here because I've like low key kind of gotten into chiropractic work, but I literally know nothing about it. So I can't wait to get into everything. But Hannah, tell me about you. How did we get started? You're an incredible chiropractor. You're so into spirituality. Your background, your history is so important to how you got into this. So tell me, how did we get to where we are right now?
I feel the best description and visual representation of how I got into chiropractic is that God literally just said, you are supposed to be here. Mm-hmm. That honestly, in every aspect of my background, I grew up in Mississippi where natural health was not a thing. I went to a Bible Belt Baptist church where it was like, no crystals, no breathing. You breathe too hard and it's like Satan. So I grew up really in a very conservative, really just not open to natural health, weird things. Like somewhere inside of me, I always knew we never really resonated with the medical system. Mm-hmm. I would throw, literally from like the time I was 7 years old, I got really sick. I would throw the pills behind the bed. My mom cleaned out our house a couple years ago and found thousands of pills. So like even those little bitty things just like made me into who I always knew instinctively that the medical system had something wrong with it. There was just a feeling. So I was in a medical program on the way to either PA school, medical school. I was doing mission trips. So building this emotional capacity, going to Haiti, Dominican, Mexico, really just building relationships with people and seeing the world and seeing the struggles that other countries go through. And so that started building my emotional capacity. And then I had the medical side and I was like, I just don't feel good in medical school. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't like it. I graduated my senior year from college was when COVID hit 2020. So every other state was locking down, welcoming people in when Mississippi was like, no, we're not letting all these people in to medical school. So I was like, what do I do? Mm-hmm. I don't know what to do. I went to our one Whole Foods in the state of Mississippi and walking in with my little mask in my hand because I refused to put it on. This woman walked up to me and said, you should be a chiropractor. She just grabbed my arm and said, you should be a chiropractor. Walked away. Like, in whatever you believe in, now that I am who I am, I full on believe like that was an angel or some type of being that's like not a physical thing, looking back on it. Yeah. Because when I heard that from this woman, I went home and applied chiropractic school that night. Got in 2 weeks, got in that night. The next morning, I got accepted to chiropractic school, started 2 weeks later. What sane person does that? What sane person's like, this random person told me to go to chiropractic school, I'm going to go. I had never seen a chiropractor. Honestly, I thought it was like a 6-month program. Mm-hmm. Had no idea. I thought it was like an associate's degree. Mm-hmm. Had no idea what it was. Never seen one, never been to one. I was working as an athletic trainer at the time. Didn't have chiropractic on the team. So I had no idea what I was getting into. I went to school, never seen a chiropractor, never being adjusted. When I got in school, I was like, I got to figure this out. I have to figure out what this is because I'm in school for it. Mm-hmm. And school was online. We were in COVID.
Yeah.
So all online courses, teachers got really lazy of just like handing out packets in our lovely expensive doctorate program.
Oh yeah.
So I started training with Kairos Training Culture, which I now am a lead facilitator for. I now run and organize all the camps. So I started just diving into obsession with what is chiropractic? Where did it come from? How did it get started? What differs it from the medical society? and just fell in love with like, this is how people heal. Like, this is the way that I can facilitate healing, and it's through chiropractic.
Oh my God. There's something about when we find that like thing or like our passion where it's like, whether it's like God-given, whatever, where it's like, oh, duh, then it all clicks at some point. But getting there through that process is like such a funny story to me. So I love hearing that. But what is so interesting is that like, you even describing the chiropractic work different from the medical system. Can you tell me like a little bit more about that? Because the only background I have in chiropractic is like how TikTok is like showing me like all the cracks, all the things. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of terrifying. And like, I've only been adjusted like once, maybe 15, 20 years ago, truly, because I had an injury. And then I was like, I don't know about this because it wasn't popular back then. And now I feel like it's starting to really grow because now people are open and available to that like more holistic side of wellness.
Yeah. I feel that, and I've gone down this rabbit hole of what is the medical profession and what is chiropractic and what separates us. And I think that separating factor is that chiropractic is not focused on symptoms. When the medical society, I mean, even if you go into like physical therapists, all of these therapists that are helping people heal, they're focused on symptoms. They're focused on pain. A true chiropractor is not. They are not focused on symptoms. We're not focused on Band-Aids. We are focused on getting to the root cause and not being attached to if that pain does not go away. I think that's the biggest factor. It's like, we're not working on pain things. We're working on clearing the interference. And that is what I've boiled down the difference.
Wow. That is so interesting. Okay. So you own The Source, which is an incredible space in Dallas that I am so lucky to have found from so many of your clients, my friends. Is that how you look at everyone when people come in through your door to say, okay, this is how I see the body, this is how I work with people? Is that your background of how you look at people?
Absolutely. It is coming from a clear state of where in the system is interfering with the nervous system to create a blockage, to create some type of dissonance that stops the information from going body to brain and brain to body. That communication system is innately wound in our system. We are designed to communicate brain to body, body to brain. When there's something that interferes that's where symptoms show up. That's our body trying to tell us something's not right or something's going on. I either need to move my body, breathe my body, or find a way to clear the interference, which is what a chiropractor does. So that's where I literally focus. Yes, I see people, everybody that comes in, they're finding chiropractors through pain. I have this and I need help. That is the conversations I start working with people, is that I'm a facilitator. I'm not going to take away your pain. Your pain's actually good. I don't know if we've ever heard the acronym of pain. So pain is an acronym for pay attention inside now. So I always tell people, I'm like, I'm not trying to remove your pain, because that pain is a communication. That's how we communicate with our bodies. That's how our system is telling us, I need help, or some other alternative way to move this energy, because our bodies can no longer do it by itself.
I have never heard that before. I'm obsessed with this. Holy moly. Okay. So what I think is incredible too, is that the way you're talking about this, it's very like spiritual. So moving into this practice and like wanting to go kind of into the medical field, but then being like, this is my new route. How do you kind of bridge that gap in between, yes, this is a scientific practice and this is how our body functions on a day-to-day, but also tell me about how you bridge that gap.
I love this. I love this question for all the summer. I turned pretty fans. I love it because, so chiropractic was built off of 3 pillars. The analogy that we get taught in school is that it's like a stool and it has 3 legs. The 3 legs are science, which is the what we're doing, what supports what we're doing. And then there's the philosophy, which is the why we're doing that, which comes into the spirituality, which comes into all of chiropractic philosophy is based essentially on every aspect of religion. The guy who created and founded chiropractic, D.D. Palmer, he studied every single religion ever and studied so many different spirituality practices. And that's what chiropractic philosophy was truly found on, was reading all of these materials that talked about how our innate system moves with breath and intentionality and the way we can become more conscious and aware of our systems. That's how the body is healing itself, is he studied all of that. So that's the philosophy. And then the last leg is the art, which is how we're doing it, how the chiropractor does things. That is how we also have this like full spectrum of chiropractors, is that last piece of the art. What's crazy is that most people are only doing the science. They're forgetting the last two. They're forgetting that spirituality, which this is also a really important part that I love being a chiropractor, because it's one of the only professions where I can openly talk about God. I can openly support someone's journey wherever they are. And even if they're not on like the Christianity side, if they're more like woo-woo spirituality, like I can talk that language too, because that is where I've studied so much of the mission trips and seeing growing up in the church and having all of this array of spirituality and what it means to people, is that I'm meeting them with no judgment. It's where are you in the spectrum? And then that's where we're going to support you. You don't have to be on one side or the other. It's where are you? And I'm going to meet you there.
See, and this is something I had no idea about until I met you, and then all of the incredible social media that you're doing and how you speak to chiropractic. I mean, I'd never heard this connection. And since my background over the past couple of years has been working in this spirituality space with all the things that I do, I was like, there's got to be something more to this, because how I see it on social media in general is a lot of the back cracking and the spine cracking, and like, how do you get the biggest release of pain and tension in the body? And that's the only way I've heard it. So now getting introduced to you and hearing this, it's so fascinating to me that that's part of the like philosophy of what you're doing, which I didn't know.
That's what the good part is. If you've ever seen there's a couple, but I really try to stay away from the back cracking side of chiropractic. So many people have reached out to me, just as I'm growing my platforms, as I'm growing Instagram and all of these things. They're like, you should really just do back crack, like make the sound the first one. And I'm like, I don't want that to be what people see of chiropractic, because they've already seen that side. We've already seen the pops. We've already seen the cracks and those like simple releases. But in the bigness of chiropractic, that is like the 1% that is actually helping people heal, is that like crack. It is the true, like, it's not the essence of what we're doing on the table. So that's where I try to showcase a lot of what we see in the office of like big releases of like crying, laughing, connection with people on the table that like they didn't know, but when they started talking, they heard them, or when someone next to them started feeling something and they're like, wait a minute, like I felt that emotion too. Like that's the power in like what we're doing at the source. It's just getting people in their systems and really bringing it past like the osseous release that is the crack.
Wow. So in your chiropractic work specifically, how do you start working with people, and how does that process actually go with people?
Ooh, that's so fun. So when people start coming in, a lot of it is dysfunction. And when I start talking through people is we have an initial process that uncovers what that dysfunction is. So I sit down with people for 45 minutes in the beginning, and some people are like, wow, that's a lot. And most of it's talking. Most of people, I have tissue boxes in there. Most people come out crying. A lot of times people say it's like a therapy session, because I want to know why we're experiencing this discomfort, why we're experiencing the quote unquote pain. What's that pain telling us? Where is it telling us to pay attention? Because if we can find that, that's how we heal. That is how we get it to quote unquote go away, is just finding and spending time with people. A lot of people know what's going on with their bodies, especially women. I'll start sitting talking to women. I'm like, my question's always like, what do you think's going on? And then they describe exactly what my diagnostic scientific mind is thinking. They describe it, but no one asked them that question. No one got them to even think or feel what's going on in their system. So I sit down with people, talk to them, just connect, really is what it is. Working through the dysfunction, and then on that goes to dysfunction to function. From the function, I want to find ease, because a lot of the times there's a lot of people that are functioning, but are they truly in ease, like an easeful position where they can expand their breath, where they can start to feel emotions and not freak out? Past the ease is adaptability. And some people think that's the last stage. A lot of people are like, I'm adaptable, I'm great. The last stage of it that we really hold at the source is the consciousness part, which is like, once you've got through the pain, once you've got through the dysfunction, our body is now functioning. Our brain is communicating to our body is communicating back to our brain. We have breath, we have ease. We can start to clearly see through the fog. Now, what is it like to heal? Heal ourselves, heal our families, heal our lineages, like past and then future. Like, where do you want to go? What do you want to experience? How do you want to set up your life? Who do you want to surround yourself with? By that point, we usually get into relationships, starting to like grieve some relationships that may have been attachment patterns, or we landlock to people because we're in that same frequency. And then once our frequency changes, our relationships start to fall off. So it's walking people through changing their lives, which is my passion project. I love that. I love seeing people turn into the beings that they want to be.
How long does that process take for people normally?
It really depends on how stubborn they are. To be really honest, it depends on how open, what do we need to break through, and how quickly are we to surrender to it? Because a lot of people, we can talk about it day one and they know that. And then how often do we want to let that go? Are we attached to it? Are we open to seeing a different perspective? It depends on what our expansion is of that consciousness and where we're at in it. If we're covered up with years of pain, dysfunction, our body's old injuries, if we've never even gone to that healing, 6 months, I'm working on healing the physical. I'm working on healing and helping move through some of really dysfunctional patterns, because that's how the brain can compensate right now. Like that, the brains only can understand the dysfunction and the pain and the physical. We can't even get to the emotional and the spiritual and the mental side because the body is so clogged up with everything that's never been touched. So it depends. It really depends.
So when people come through your door, what is typically the few biggest things that people come to you for initially? And is there like a switch or a transition when people are working with you and they're like, oh, this is actually what I'm working on now?
That is, so we all have people that have back pain, neck pain. When I became a chiropractor, and you hear it throughout school of graduating, of you're going to see back pain, neck pain. That's all you're going to be dealing with, like disc problems, sciatica, scoliosis, like common problems you would go to a chiropractor for. That's about 2% of my practice. The second day I was in practice, second day licensed, I had someone come into me, and she was a girl, and she's like, every time I poop, it's just blood everywhere. It's painful. I can't, and I'm going in down like, okay, chiropractic school tells me to send her to the ER. And I'm like, if she gets sent to the ER, they're just going to give her pills. They're going to try to do surgery. They're going to try. And so that question, I see so many random, wild, unsuspected things that you would go to a chiropractor for. Seizures, migraines. Like we have some of those, deep grief, going through a divorce. Like I have people come in and go, I have no pain, but I lost my kid a couple years ago and I'm still feeling things from it. Like there are so many different, almost everything is completely different. I have a trend of the women's health just because that's what I'm posting on. That's where kind of my background went into is like healing my cycle. I didn't have a cycle for 3 years. So a lot of those people I'm naturally attracting with my energy, but it is an array of people. We go through men trying to find relationships, healing that, like I've been lonely for a while. And going into some of that like deeply rooted trauma from childhood of examining why do you need a woman or why do you need a partner and going through that phase. My favorite question to ask during an initial exam Okay, you have back pain. Okay, you have pain. But what else do you want to heal? What else has no one given you the space to express? Like, what is the deepest thing that's stopping you from healing? Like, what do you want to heal? Anything. If you had a magic wand and we just wanded around in this room, like, what is the one thing that you want to experience or feel?
That permission to ask someone that, whereas like the average person that's walking through their life, I would be kind of shocked to hear something like that if you're not actively like working on in this space. Do you find that people kind of are like, what do you mean, when they're walking into like a chiropractic office and then it's like, what? We're doing emotional work? Do people get surprised by that anymore? Or since they know you now, that's kind of what they expect from you?
In the beginning, it was a lot of people were shocked. Still to this day, especially like some of my big like barley men. Like I see a lot of men. A lot of people think I just see women. I see so many men, and they're like, back pain. Came in here for back pain, and I'm like, yeah. What else? And I'm just so authentically just like, yeah. The same energy you're giving me, I'm giving it right back to you. So they're definitely some thrown off. Now, as I'm posting more videos, people know who I am. People know they see the tissue box right there. They see a lot of the people, especially the way we set up our offices, which is awesome. We set up people to come in for initial exam while I'm still seeing other people. So I've had people sitting on that couch and are watching me adjust 3 people before I go see them. And they're watching me and they're like, what's about to happen? I can kind of gauge it from there where we're going. Cause I'll see some of them like, finally, like this is what I wanted. Or some of them are like, how do I get out? The door's that way. She's already seen me. Like, what do I do? And I can kind of gauge it from there, which is really fun. It's really great to be able to they see up front the depth that we're working with.
And what an incredible thing to be able to see that up front and then be able to be then experiencing that very shortly thereafter. But I kind of want to talk about that brain and body connection because once again, I feel like, especially when we're working with the nervous system, we're working with the body, a lot of times that's really not touched on, the emotional aspect. And, you know, there's so many resources out there, like The Body Keeps the Score and so many books that are available for people to like listen to and to learn more about it. But can you speak to that, like the science, but also the spirituality, but also that emotional aspect of how things that happen in your life, situations, circumstances, life habits, old stories, and how that affects your physical body when you see people?
It's my favorite question on planet Earth. So we talk in every single report that I do. So day 2 with people, I give them a clear outline of what a nervous system is. Because a lot of people think chiropractic is a spine. I'm going to see a spine doctor.
Because that's what I thought.
Which kind of true. But what is inside the spine is what I want, which is the nervous system. So I have a picture in my office that I walk through people. Okay, this is the nervous system. We're not all crazy spine addicts. Like we're really just obsessed with what's inside of it, not the spine itself. Like people think that chiropractors are like this crazy, like spine addicted people. Like the spine t-shirts, we gotta stop, guys. So I walk them through. This is your nervous system. It is housed. Your spinal cord is housed inside of your spine. So in that, there are a network of nerves that go everywhere. I have pretty little pictures of like teeth, nose, lips, head, brain, goes all through your organs, all through your pelvic floor, down your legs. And I say, what is that connected to? It's connected to your brainstem. I'm like, your brainstem sits in your skull and that spinal cord runs down your body and connects everywhere. So we're connecting all of those little highways to the main center. And so it's this giant grid of communication. What I've started adding now to nervous system communication is fascial system communication. Because a lot of people understand fascia and they understand nervous system. But they don't understand how they work together. So nervous system, when it gets the signal from brain or from body that something in this up and down chain is not working properly, it will send a signal to the fascial system to lock down, which is where people usually see pain. The fascial system is also, there's a lot of studies now that it's actually working faster than the nervous system. So these guys are communicating. So where we first learned that nervous system communicated a fascial system and that was it, now fascial system actually has some feedback to both, where it's immediately detecting danger, whether that be like a literal tiger coming at you or a stressful situation on 75 if you live in Dallas. Like there's a car coming to my left, my fascial system, my nervous system is starting to bring awareness to lock down, to create stability for the dangers that's coming in. Taking it a step deeper is our fascial system is 70% water.
And can you explain the fascial system for people that are like, I actually don't know what that is?
Yes. Fascial system. Okay. So your fascial system is a clear picture is it's like saran wrap around your muscles and around your system. What is even crazier is that it's also deeply rooted like a loofah. So if you've ever seen a picture or you can Google a picture of an authentic loofah, not the little purple ones in Target, but like the legit authentic ones, you put it next to your tub and it hardens. What hydrates it and what makes it like squishy and movable? It's water. So this is where like dehydration comes. Like this is why dehydration and hydration is so important, because when we're dehydrated, it hardens our fascia, which is saran wrap for our muscles, which is a communication system to our nervous system that says, lock down, we are stressed, or we have some sort of tension, body disconnection that is stopping us from healing now, because I have to focus on whatever alarming thing is happening to the system. And it can be as simple as dehydration. What that fascia does is it's literally intertwined everywhere of our body, everywhere. And this is some of the work that I've been getting to with the women's work is where is most of our fascia? Pelvis. It's in women's pelvises. So that water, I don't know if you've ever heard of Dr. Emoto out of Japan. So I will tell this story. It's my favorite thing to start explaining what fascia is and why it's so important. That brings in the spirituality purpose to this.
Love.
So Dr. Emoto handed these like little bowls to kids in a kindergarten class. And every single day they had two sides of the room. One side, they would go up to the water and say, thank you. I love you. You're so amazing. And that water started to transform into this like beautiful crystal with like all these different sectors. It like bloomed into this beautiful masterpiece. And then on the other side of the room, the kids would go scream at it, like anger, everything you feel, like just yell at this bowl of water. And the kids were just standing around it, like screaming at it. And it molded into like almost like this like melting, like guck, like not beautiful at all. Very gross looking crystal. And it's forming to whatever words had been influenced on that water. So if you put, we have 70% water, over half of our body is being influenced by our environment, the words that we've been told, whatever someone has ever influenced around us. You want to talk about screen time, like everything that we see online that's coming through the news, that's coming through this like phone in our pocket. All of that is having to be absorbed in our body. All of it is having to be processed. Every feeling, every thought, and every action. So when you go into that and like specifically, what were you told as a child? What were you around? What was your environment as a kid? Where was your school life? How was your relationships? Like those little 7th grade relationships, like all of the words that the boys and girls or your partner or whatever had told you, we hold on to that. If we've never processed it, it's stored somewhere in our body. Our bodies always store material for the opportunity to heal. It's always doing it because it's wanting us to evolve. Deeply rooted in whatever you believe in, our bodies in whatever consciousness wants us to heal. They are trying to give us an opportunity to heal our systems, to heal our families, to heal the people around us. So our body stores it. But if we never go back to it, think about how many people don't go back to actually going in to that breath, into what's going on in our systems, what's available to heal.
I mean, just hearing this, I mean, I'm so lucky to know a little bit of this because of my own background, but hearing something like this is mind-blowing to me because it really does connect how everything is literally so intertwined and connected. And it's no wonder all of us are walking around like zombies on our phone, angry, upset, dysregulated, not happy, not fun, whatever the situation is. As a chiropractor, what do you want people to know as far as that like mind-body connection? And then I kind of want to get into like the women's health and all that stuff.
So the biggest thing that I want people to know about chiropractic is if you experience a bad chiropractor, go to a different one. If you're in Dallas, hi. If you're not in Dallas, we have sources across the country. I run a training culture that has amazing chiropractors everywhere distributed literally through the world. Got some plugs in Australia, got some plugs in the UK.
We're kind of a badass over here, like very low key.
So it's like if you experience it bad, because I've heard so many stories, I won't send my family to a chiropractor that I do not know because I know the training and that the qualifications and the honestly integrity that they live in their system plays into how they practice. So if I don't know a chiropractor, I'm not sending you to one. And even if you don't live close in Dallas, like close to me, I'll send you somewhere outside of Dallas that has an amazing chiropractor. So it's like, if you have one that you don't feel or you don't resonate with, contact me. Yeah. I will get you a good one. Yeah. I will find you someone that matches your personality and how they practice, because there is a full spectrum of us chiropractors. Mm-hmm. And so just finding where you fit and honestly who can help you heal and facilitate that healing is what makes chiropractic.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God. The way that you're talking about this, it's literally like everyone needs to go to a chiropractor at this point, because I mean, I clearly do. I can't wait to like do a session with you in person. But are there specific types of people that you think would be like, I need to see you like today, versus like, okay, like come when you're ready?
It's my favorite thing when I'm talking to people in the wild is that they're like, oh, I've never had a reason to see a chiropractor. And I'm like, do you breathe in this polluted air? Do you eat the food that is not food in the grocery store? Do you drink the water that has 1 billion hormones in it? You need a chiropractor, because all of it is about adaptability. Mm-hmm. There was a time that we didn't need care, that we didn't need adaptability. And I'll even argue that we did. Mm-hmm. But there was a time where our systems were adaptable to what is being presented in the world. Now, none. Everything that we come in contact with is a stressor, a stimulant, some type of toxin, or some type of thought-inducing trauma. Mm-hmm. Really, we need a way to filter that out. So it's like chiropractic is my way that I filter that out. There are other ways. Breath work, beautiful. I went down the whole rabbit hole of Pilates. Like, there's a lot of people using Pilates in movement and yoga practices as a way to nervous system regulate. There's a way of that, but is it fully getting into the system? Is there an interference? Can you clear the interference with your movement and your breath? I believe yes, if you have the deep consciousness for it. Mm-hmm. Sad thing is, not many people do. Mm-hmm. Not many people have that deep awareness for clearing the system.
Mm-hmm. So. I totally agree with that. So do you find yourself, when you're working with people, helping find that deep clarity and deep coherence in finding that their own inner source?
Oh my gosh. Yes. I always tell people, again, in my practice, I don't want you reliant on me. I want us to reach away. And the first thing we talk about is breath. Majority of the first session is breathing, because good Lord, we have to learn how to do that, because that breath is what helps integrate stuff in. If I have someone on the table that has really beautiful relationship with their breath, adjustments are going way smoother. We have stuff that's integrating faster. I usually see them progress faster as well, because their body is consciously absorbing whatever information, and we can clear that interference really well. If we're not, that is where it's a lot more of me doing things to them and them not doing it with me. So I want that breath to intertwine, to actually bring me and them to be working with them versus me working on them.
How do you see the breath dysregulated in people?
Oh my gosh, it's so sad. So many people, I'll have them literally just breathe on the table and they're like, I feel so much better. I'm like, yeah, that's what breath feels like. That's what breath breathing does, is it's bringing life to your system. I have to say this, and it is not from me, so I need everyone to know that I did not come up with this, but it is so good. So it's one of my greatest friends, mentors out in California, Golden Gate Chiropractic. His name is Dr. Lance Von State. He put a video out 2 days ago on breath, and it blew my mind. I'm every day like, how do I breathe deeper? Because he talks about breath as a volume. And so in his video, he uses it as posture. Everyone complains about posture. Okay, if you take a deep breath, hold in that breath, you quite literally can't slouch. It is building the volume so that supports gravity. My mind was blown. I was like, everyone needs to be breathing big diaphragmatic breaths. And I'm always like, we're always facilitating that in the office, but I'm like, this is the true volume to our system. This is what brings our body from just a meat suit to actual life, is through breath. And that's what helps us stay upright. That's what helps us experience life. That's what helps us expand opportunities, is the breath. Everything.
I love you speaking to this. As you were speaking, I was like, oh, this is the main issue that I find with women, because women, especially, at least the women that I've worked with over the past couple of years, we have been so programmed to not take up space, to not have that volume. Always, especially growing up as a 90s baby, you're focused on not having a big belly, especially when you're going out in a bikini, in a swimsuit, whatever. And it's like, basically we are programmed to not breathe, to not take up that space. And so having to deprogram that on top of all the emotional work that you're doing, I'm sure is like mind blowing to people, because at the end of the day, there's so many things that you do, but I love the foundation of it. It has to be the breath.
Something that I always work with, especially women, I find it with women more than men, doing like deep abdomen work on the anterior body, which is the most emotional side, because it is we want to protect our organs. Naturally, innately, our brain is saying protect this anterior system. But I'll work with people in...
What does anterior system mean?
Our front side. Wow. Front side, amazing. Yes. So I'll have people working with them, and I have my hand and like, breathe into this, like push my hand away with your breath. And you've probably seen this too, where the breath skips. And I'll start to cue that of like, did you feel that? Or did you see it? Did you feel your breath skip to the right? Did you feel it skip away from where I'm placing my hand? And I'm like, why? I'm not giving people answers. I think that's a big misconception, that like, I'm going to give you all the answers. I'm going to lead you to the answer. So I'm leading people with my hand on them. Where's that breath avoiding? Because where that breath is avoiding is where you need to go. So we're starting to lead people to breathe into those spaces. I have these like little beanie bags on my desk that I love using, and I just place it on them, and I'm like, this is your focus. This is where you're breathing. Breathe into that weighted space, because you haven't in years.
Oh, I'm obsessed with that. Yeah, that's always my trick with like private clients, is a 10-pound yoga bolster beanie, like the amazing. Okay. So obviously you work with a lot of women right now, and from your background a little bit, talking about your own health, how have you started working with women and their cycles, and notice how your background in chiropractic work has now moved into this new space of working with the cycle, working with women hyper specifically on everything that you're doing?
Oh my gosh. I fought this for a while. I really did. I really fought this for a while, because innately I am this like little chiropractor with a really feisty personality. I'm really young too. So like, I was always like, no, I can serve everyone. And as I got into this and started seeing so many women, I was like, man, chiropractic is it's a man dominated field. A lot of people think of a chiropractor. Your image that you're thinking of is a white old man with a giant beer belly. They're not picturing me. And so a lot of women that I've seen come into the source are terrified of chiropractors. I've had women say that they have to take their clothes off, that they've had like pervy chiropractors. So to be able to hold a space, one where women are safe, is like the most honoring thing ever. But also women need a woman to actually witness them. That has seen that frequency, that has seen and been through everything that they've walked through. Going into like deeper indigenous medicine, there was a way where your facilitator was who walked through that. The person that helps you heal is the person that walked where you did. That's why the purpose, I tell this to students all the time, that is why your purpose as a chiropractor in chiropractic school is to heal, is to go through everything you possibly can. Every injury, everything that I ever go into in life is a lesson that I can then serve clients. So being a woman, going through the journey of being a hyper athlete, having like 3% body fat, cycle turning off, malnutrition. Some old man told me to go on birth control at the ripe age of 12, was on it through college, started experiencing the partner hatred where I was like, I hate my current husband. We were dating at the time. I was like, I could literally skin him. I was like, I could just peel back his skin because I hate this man. And I'm like, why? He's not done anything. He's literally not done anything. It was the hormones just racing through my system. And so then having to get off of birth control, I think to this day, I've probably had the worst experience getting off birth control. I've yet to found a woman that's like gone through all the crap I did. So it's like going.
Just wait.
Like,
you might meet me.
I'm literally waiting for someone. I really am, because I'm like, man, there's not been anything that some woman has told me like, oh, that's shocking. Nope. Been there, done that, went through it, tried 50 things to help it, and none of it worked but chiropractic. I go through gut dysregulation. I've been in the parasite world. I've had all this stuff to make me look 9 months pregnant when I am not. Going through all of that and all of the cycle and the trauma that it holds on to and everything that the womb holds on to. That being able to facilitate that is just so beautiful because there's not enough information about it. Most of the time we try, and that was my biggest struggle. I couldn't find information. I had to go out to California and Sacramento to this curandero who had worked with people for 60 years. Like, a lot of people don't have access to that. Like, thank God I did, because that was just a relationship that was placed in my lap. But how many of us have that opportunity to go and study deeply womb work? So that's why I love facilitating it. To speak to a little bit of the science aspect, that's where the fascia comes in. We have a deep front line. So when I hear women talk about jaw pain, headache pain, back pain, I'm like, were you on birth control? Yep. How long? 10 to something years. Okay, cool. How's your diet? I eat like a rabbit. No animal meats? Okay, great. No dairy? Cool. How's your gut? I rarely poop. And I'm like, all of this, it's a trend. I mean, it's a straight line that I'm just asking question after question, and every single one is yes. It's all connected. So I started to see that massive pattern. Pattern recognition is my superpower. So seeing that pattern in women, I've just honed in on it like a bloodhound, and I've just been helping women just dissolve it.
So women across the board that you've been working with, whether they're in their teenage years, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, how do you help support women's health at every age?
Oh, this is so good. We actually were going to do a series, and then I was like, we need all these women together. But there's three really main categories of the maiden, the mother, and the crone. So that's where I start to see, okay, where are we in that process? Are we in those like teenage years where we're very uncomfortable? I literally saw a teenager this morning. I was like, how's your cycle? And she was like, turned purple. And I was like, it's okay. We can talk about this here. So one, getting them just comfortable with their cycles and starting to prevent what's about to be told to them, because they're going to go to an OB/GYN. They're going to get told that they need to go on birth control because you're going to college at this fun place. You're going to be sexually active. Here's birth control. No questions asked. So I'm starting to prep them for that. I'm starting to prep them for conversations that they're going to have that might be fear-based, and letting them know what their freaking rights are. What can they say no to? I love that. Really that's really where my focus is right now, of like starting to prep college girls or high school girls, or even like middle school to be the earliest. I'm wanting to get in the school system. So like if anybody has a plug, helping women prep for that, helping girls prep for that, because a lot of them don't know. And then once we're in that other cycle where it's that mother gearing up for fertility, gearing up to start having babies, that's where cleaning the wound happens. So, yep. So it's like clearing the physical, all of the tension that we've held on to, because a lot of the times like that 20, like depending on where it is, like 20 to 40 range is a lot of career driven, a lot of either pre mommy age or post mommy age. It's a lot of tension around I'm career, starting a family, and then the past. There's a lot. I will touch a little bit on this, but like all of your partners, you have some energetic tie to. So that's where we're starting to snip and cut those things that no longer hold on. Like we are not holding on to those losers that we slept with in middle school or high school or college. Bye. They do not take up space there. See ya. So it's working through that to then clear for birth or post birth. So love working with mamas. Again, all of that energy, I want to get cleared before birth, because the birth canal is a detox process. So we want to talk about the rising stuff in stress and all of these neurodivergent kids. Yes, it's cool, but majority of that I'm seeing, I talk to the mom, they've had a really traumatic past that's being held in the womb that gets detoxed into the kid. That's why I'm so passionate about helping like that 20 to 30 range to prep before birth.
Oh my, I mean, of course everything's connected, but when you speak to it like that, clearly it's, oh my God. I mean, how you function as a woman is how you're going to bring your child into this world.
Exactly. And then going past birth, I've met like 2 moms that have really beautiful births. Especially if they're done in a hospital. I have no like harm against hospitals. A lot of things happen there. A lot of things that, and it's nothing against the nurses or doctors. The medical system is set up as a system. If you try to go outside that system, sometimes there's people that don't believe what you believe. Some people don't honor the things that you want, and that's okay. That is where if something goes wrong, we've got to heal from it. I've had a lot of moms in my practice, and like even working overseas, a lot of them are being disconnected with baby. So we now know through all of the beautiful information how important skin to skin is. If there's a traumatic birth, that baby, or we come premature, they get immediately taken away. That severs that emotional, mental, spiritual, physical reaction of attachment to baby. And sometimes that can't get gained back. Once they get them back, sometimes there's a disconnect. Sometimes there's behavioral issues. Sometimes there's a lot of stuff. I always welcome moms to bring in their kids to their appointment, or we have the conversation around it of like, what was birth like and how are they now? When I have a mom who has had either a C-section or some type of traumatic birth where their kid was ripped away, and they, in that moment, were like fearing for their life and the life of their baby, they get taken away. There's something that the body holds on. That's whatever beautiful birth you have, it's always a trauma. It's always something, a big event that's happening in your life. So making sure that that connection comes back, because that's what I've seen leads to behavioral issues, leads to ADHD, leads to all of these like beautiful neurodivergencies that we're seeing, that we're blaming it on the kids, which like I'm not blaming it on mom or the system, but something broke and we need to help bridge it back. Like we need to help reconnect them. Deeper into the crone, I also love working with the older women, the little menopausal women who are like, I need help. I might be going crazy, because there is also little to no information or support for menopausal women. It is wild. That is where I'm working with, what is your legacy? What do you want to pass down? A lot of the times they either have kids that have left the nest. So it's rediscovering who they are, because especially I get more like moms in Dallas that have been moms for years and don't remember who they are. That's my favorite of like, what do you love? What do you experience? Like, what do you want to experience? What do you want to feel? What do you want freedom to do? And it's so, that's the really fun one of like rediscovering what you want your life to look like. It's really been fun for that. And like your legacy of the crone, of the mother.
I just love that this practice can go through every single stage of life, because a lot of times you feel like you hear about practices and it's like, oh, well, it's only really beneficial for X, Y, and Z type of person. But you can literally do this for any single individual with any background and help support them, even if it's just by 1% coming back to themselves. So how can you help support that longevity moving forward for people? Do you think it's primarily with the body? Do you think it's primarily with the mind? How do you help with that?
When I think of longevity, I think of emotion. I think of how are we doing emotionally? Physically, longevity, if they're in the longevity space, we've done all the physical things. Usually they're like hyper biohackers. They're working on their physical body. They're looking for something more, which is clearing out toxins and acknowledging emotion. That's where longevity comes into the expression of life and the consciousness. We're in that adaptability and opening up consciousness, really understanding what life feels like versus just surviving it.
Now, you've thrown that word a lot around, adaptability. What does that word really mean?
Ooh, adaptability is being able to witness, feel, express, and then take in, absorb, and transmute whatever comes in your field, and being able to transmute, alchemize, expand it, or just say, you're not for me, bye. Being able to have something come in that you may not recognize and not crumbling, not freezing, not wanting to punch it in the face. Having someone, my like simplest way of adaptability, it's like when someone cuts you off at traffic, what happens? Are you actually in a road rage on the news, or are you like, I love them, how's it going? Like, I'm just, whatever, who cares? It's the way of transmuting energy is the way I view it.
God, I love that definition because there's so many ways that you could look at adaptability, especially from like a science background like you have, but from that emotional aspect, huge.
There is adaptability part of care. So in my care plans, we're moving through a mobility phase, which is like we got to get things moving first. We have to get energy in. And then there's a stability phase where, okay, we've got stuff moving. We're fine. We're stable. But what does stability mean? I want you to stabilize in your environment, to create what you want and to anchor into the ground. Then adaptability phase is go run into traffic, go have hard conversations, go run, go do your physical things that you couldn't before. Whatever they came in and like, I can't do this. I'm like, go do it.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? I haven't done that in 7 years. I'm like, I don't care. Go do it. Because we've gone through care. We've gone through a system. Your body is now capable of doing it. And you have to break that fear in the adaptability. You have to break that. Because if you can't get past that mental block, you're never going to heal. That adaptability phase is my favorite, and it's arguably the most important. Because if we don't pass through that breakage of breaking the fear or getting past whatever obstacle is in our way, that's where I see people fall back into the pain. That's where I see people fall back into a pattern because they didn't get to the end of it and didn't complete the healing cycle.
So getting past that fear is truly about just doing it.
And that's where I let people do that.
Yeah.
I push people, but It's your decision.
Yeah.
It's your decision to do it. It's your decision in that I trust the timing. I'm never attached to that. I have someone in my office. It's been a year. And I'm like, hey, when are we doing it? She's like, I don't know. I'm like, okay. Like, it's there when you're ready. Your body is stable for it. Your system is stable for it. It's your decision. You have to take the step. I can't make the step for you. As much as I want you and as much as I'm cheerleading you on the sidelines, you have to take the step.
Yeah. And I love that accountability aspect to it, because at the end of the day, like you mentioned, like, you don't want people seeing you forever. Like, that's not the goal. It's, I'm going to help you get there, and then you live your life, which I love that about everything. And then it's like, come back to me when you need me. Obviously, I'm always here. But as far as your background and what you've been studying over the past, how many years that you've been doing this, all the people that you've connected with, what would you want people to know about your background, your history, what you've been doing, maybe just women specifically? What would you want them to know if they've never been to you?
There's nothing too big. There's nothing too much. Again, don't forget, we were in Haiti, in the Dominican. We've seen some stuff. There's like nothing too big for me. That's one thing I really like. I am a piece of humble pie, but I will brag all day long that I've never really met people that have the emotional capacity that I do. So it's nothing's too big. Nothing is too great for you to heal. There's nothing. Do not let anyone tell you that you cannot heal, because you can. And that if you need support in any way, I am here. If you need me, I am here. If I'm not open, I will find a way. And if I don't know about it, give me 24 hours. Quite autistic. I'll figure it out. Like I am like, I will figure it out. I will find someone or something. If it's not me, I'll find someone for you. I'm trailblazing right now. So get me wherever, push me wherever. If you need me talking to people, let me talk to whoever. Like I am ready, really stepping into wherever I'm needed, I'll go. That's how I got to Australia. They were like, hey, you want to go to Australia? He's like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, book a flight. Amazing. If you want me there, I'll be there. If you need me, I'll help you. I really don't say no much anymore.
Oh, and I love this.
I'm in my yes years.
I'm so here for this. Now, the last thing I literally have for you, do you have any myths that you want to debunk about chiropractic work, or anything that you've been working on in general? Because I know you do a lot more than just chiropractic work, but like that's for another conversation and another time. We don't have time for that right now. But is there anything that you're like, okay, I'm really sick and tired of hearing this?
That chiropractors are just physical. If you have a chiropractor who just focuses on your physical, get a new one. Like it's so much more. Chiropractic is literally like what's advertised is a pea size of what chiropractic can really do. Like it can heal your entire lineage. When you think about that, like chiropractic is not physical. It's not about the cracks. It's not about your creepy, pervy chiropractor. Get rid of him if you have one of those. It's so much more like the bigness and the purpose. I mean, it changed my life. It changes everybody's life that walks through my door. So it's like, if you have something, if you're not happy with the way you're living, chiropractic is a way to help.
Oh my God. Hannah, are you kidding me?
I love this.
Oh my God, same. I just want to thank you so much for spreading all of your wisdom. I can't wait to learn so much more from you, because hello. But for people that don't know you, where can they find you online, in person? Tell them everything.
Well, I currently live at my office, which is 4311 Belmont Ave in Dallas, if you want to be there. I have the Source Dallas in chiropractic office here in Dallas, Texas. There also are 1,000. Not really, there's 7 in the US right now, but we're gaining more.
I love it.
Also, Instagram, I am not this like mega influencer. Like I answer everything. I talk to people, like DM me, I will respond. If it goes into my request, comment on something, because I hate that they did that. It might just be in my request box. So you're not going to annoy me. Hit a comment on a reel and say, hey, check your request. Happy to talk. I love talking to people. I love hearing about people's stories. I love hearing about what they've experienced or where they want to go. I'm not going to put my phone number on the internet, but yeah, if you want to DM me, I'll call you too. I don't care. I'm a very open person. I just love connecting with people from all over. So Instagram's the best outlet, but I'm also here in Dallas.
I am obsessed. Hannah, thank you so much.
Thank you. This was amazing. This was so fun.